So I'm super excited about the future, yeah, really look forward to making it happen. Yeah, we're aspiring to do better than what was presented at Battery Day, but we're confident of at least doing what we presented at Battery Day. Basically, I'm highly confident the car will be able to drive itself with a reliability in excess of humans this year. But I think the mission isn't over yet, and we've still got a long way to go before we can really make a dent in the world on accelerating the advent of sustainable energy.
Welcome for my second English video on my German channel Predicting the Future. I did the same video 2 weeks ago as German summary of Tesla's Q4 2020 earnings call, revealing the secret thoughts of the management team during the conference call. A spectator asked me if I could do a simultaneous German translation instead of subtitles for the most important parts of the earnings call. By thinking about it, I concluded that the original wording of the management team is crucial to understand them correctly. That's why I decided to do an English version of the video with the secret thoughts of Elon and his team during the press conference. Take the next 15 minutes for a comprehensive summary of the conference call to understand the real message of the call. Underpromise and overdeliver. Game, set, match, Tesla.
2020 was a defining year for us on many levels. Despite a challenging environment, we reached an important milestone of producing and delivering 500,000 cars. We delivered almost as many cars last year as we produced in our entire history. So we achieved free cash flow of nearly $2.8 billion after spending more than $3 billion on building new factories and other expenditures. We reached industry-leading GAAP operating margin, producing the Model Y out of Fremont, and have almost reached full production speed. We ramped the Model 3 in Shanghai to more than 5,000 cars a week sustainably, and Shanghai continues to grow rapidly. We introduced the heat pump to all of our vehicles. We started and were able to ramp to volume production at the single-piece castings for Model Y. We built a Model Y factory in China from start to finish in 1 year. We're also building Giga Berlin and Giga Texas, which we expect to start production later this year. So we built a battery cell factory in the Bay Area. Not that it would be in probably the top 10 battery cell factories on Earth, despite being a pilot plant. We're super excited to announce the new Model S and Model X Plaid are in production now and will be delivered in February. This Model S Plaid will be the first production car ever that is able to go 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 2 seconds. Yeah, we think it's probably the best car of any kind at any price available in the world today. Then, with regard to full self-driving, we've made massive progress on full self-driving. With each successive release of the beta of the FSD software, it's really improving rapidly. We have no interventions on drives that I do, including drives to places I've never been to. Basically, I'm highly confident the car will be able to drive itself with a reliability in excess of humans this year. While 2020 was a turning point for Tesla, and in terms of profitability, we believe this is just the beginning. We think 2021 is going to be even more exciting, but assuming that 21 is a relatively normal year from an external standpoint, I think it's going to be a great year for Tesla. Many great new products coming out, advanced factories out of factory startup, production. It'll also make it easier having a factory in Berlin, one in Texas that can, just from a logistics standpoint, Texas can help supply the eastern half of the U.S. and Berlin can help supply Europe. So I'm super excited about the future, yeah, really look forward to making it happen.
All that being said, nothing has changed about our view that operating margin will continue to grow and remain industry-leading. As we look forward, 2021 may be our most meaningful step forward yet, as we see the benefits of long-standing investments in capacity and technology.
How does one justify the value of the company being where it is? If Tesla ships, let's say hypothetically, 50 or $60 billion worth of vehicles, and those vehicles become full self-driving and can be used in robotaxis, uses robotaxis their utility increases from an average of 12 hours a week to potentially an average of 60 hours a week if they're capable of serving as robotaxi. So that's like roughly a 5x increase in utility. But let's, even if you say like, okay, well, let's just assume that the car becomes twice as useful as, not 5 times useful, but merely twice as useful. That would be a doubling again of the revenue of the company, which is almost entirely gross margin. So it would mean it would be like, okay, if you made $50 billion worth of cars, it would be like having $50 billion of incremental profit, basically, from that, because it's just software. So, and if that were the case, then yeah, if you do 20 PE on that, it's like $1 trillion, and the company is still in high growth mode. So I think there is a way to sort of like, justify the valuation of the company where it is, using just the cars and nothing else, cars with FSD.
It's true. The in-house cell manufacturing system we revealed at Battery Day contained new processes and equipment. So we did expect some unknown unknowns and technical challenges to arise through the production ramp. The Cato team, however, has been able to solve each manufacturing problem presented to date and continues to improve yield and rate week over week and month over month as we move up the production S-curve. At the same time, the cell engineering team's refined designs and deepened understanding has reinforced our confidence in the drive process and 4680 design, meeting our performance and cost target. We have 10 gigawatt hours worth of equipment landed at Cato. The production staff is nearly all hired. Our material supply chain is established, and the team is on track for full production ramp this year. Meanwhile, we've developed enough engineering confidence with our 4680 design and the production process and equipment to kick off manufacturing equipment and facility construction to support our 100 gigawatt hour 2022 goal.
It's not that important to look at the run up to there because these things tend to improve exponentially. But we are installing capacity for it, in 2022 for 200 gigawatt hours a year, and we think probably we should be able to achieve 50% of targeted design capacity in 2022.
Yeah, agreed, Elon. And as you've said before, with the S-curve of production, you can be off a little bit on the initial part of the S-curve, and that makes a difference in absolute capacity by quite a bit 1 month to the next. So, yeah, I mean, we are progressing up that S-curve as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah, and we don't see any showstoppers.
We put together the trajectory, in the Battery Day, and we're on that trajectory still. I think that's probably the best reference for the cost trajectory.
Yeah. We're aspiring to do better than what was presented at Battery Day, but we're confident of at least doing what we presented at Battery Day. All right, so we finished almost all of the Cybertruck engineering. So we're no longer iterating at the design center level or design level. We've got the design is fixed. We're getting to we'll soon order the equipment necessary to make the Cybertruck work. We're actually going to be using even bigger casting machines for the rear body of Cybertruck because you've got obviously it's a bigger vehicle and you've got a long truck bed that's going to support a lot of load. So we'll be using an 8,000-ton casting press for the rear body casting as opposed to a 6,000-ton for Model Y. So 6,000-ton was the biggest casting press in the world. 8,000-ton, obviously, quite a bit bigger than that. And I think it's going to be an incredible vehicle. If we get lucky, we'll be able to do a few deliveries towards the end of this year, but I expect volume production to be in 2022.
Will Tesla Semi be the first to achieve full autonomy?
I think that's quite likely, yes. I can't imagine, I'm not sure who would be number two, but yeah, it seems highly likely, yeah. The progress that we're making between each beta iteration, just improving the corner case reliability and getting it, to 99.9999% reliable. We need to get it to better than human by a factor of at least 100% or 200%. But this is happening rapidly because we've got so much training data the software is improving. We're moving everything towards video labeling. So there's still a few of the neural nets that need to be upgraded to video training. As we transition each net to video, the performance has become exceptional. So this is like a hard thing. The labeling software that we wrote for video labeling, making that better has a huge effect on the efficiency of labeling. And then, of course, the holy grail is auto labeling. We really just see this as a question of getting the work done. We're getting it done, and you can see the results in the rapidly improving FSD betas that are released. And we're also going to be expanding the FSD beta itself to include more and more people. So, and from my standpoint, it looks like a very clear and obvious path towards a vehicle that will drive, 100% safer than a person. Yeah, I really do not see any obstacles here. So training supercomputer, we believe it'll be, we think it may be the best neural net training computer in the world by possibly an order of magnitude, and getting the reliability to 2,000% better than the average human. We're actually seeing tremendous growth in solar quarter over quarter last year, and we had our best quarter since I think 2018 in Q4. So we do actually expect to become the market share leader in solar, and then go far beyond that. Unfortunately, there were a few years there where we had to devote the whole company to Model 3 production. Basically, take the whole company, including a bunch of people that were on solar, and have them work on cars. But now we've got a little more bandwidth. We're putting a lot of attention on solar, and it is growing rapidly. So I think it will not be long before Tesla is by far the market leader in solar.
Another really important part of the solar strategy is achieving an industry-leading cost structure, which then allows us to have industry-leading pricing. And so that's something that we've accomplished over the last year in terms of getting the cost structure in the place that it needs to be. And as Elon mentioned, this is a really important part with industry-leading pricing to become the leader in the space.
Yeah, and actually, an important part is achieving better integration between the Tesla Powerwall and the Tesla retrofit solar and Tesla roof. And we're confident we'll have excellent integration with the Powerwall and Tesla Solar, whether it's retrofit or the solar glass roof before the end of the year. We're focused on reducing the amount of time and the complexity of the install.
To what extent does elevated capital enable you to accelerate plans on building capacity or expanding vertical integration, accelerating timing on full self-drive features?
We are also using the money with respect to our investments in future capacity. And so what we're able to do now that we haven't had the opportunity to do in the past is, as we're building capacity, particularly in Austin and Berlin, we can build that capacity with the expectation of what the end state of capacity will be, pulling forward some of those investments, rather than incrementally adding capacity as we go along. And so this is an important part in terms of capital efficiency that we haven't had the luxury to do in the past. And it's great to be able to have the liquidity to focus on that. And then more broadly, as Jerome was touching on, service expansion is really important to the future strategy of the company. So as you saw in our Q4 numbers, the expansion of service centers and mobile service from Q3 to Q4 increased quite a bit, and was also quite a bit higher than the first part of the year. And so we're able now to make investments there and also in the supercharging network to get ahead of future demand, which will cost us more in the near term, but is what the right long-term thing is for our customers and the company.
Well, I expect to be CEO of Tesla for several years. So I think there's still a lot that I'm super excited about doing, and I think it would be hard to leave a lot of these great projects halfway or partway done. But I definitely do more technical work than is typical for a CEO. So it would be nice to have a bit more free time on my hands, as opposed to just working day and night from when I wake up to when I go to sleep 7 days a week. It's pretty intense. But I think the mission isn't over yet, and we've still got a long way to go before we can really make a dent in the world on accelerating the advent of sustainable energy. I mean, the three legs of a sustainable energy future are sustainable energy generation via solar, wind, geothermal, and hydro, and a few others. But then the second thing you need stationary storage. You need batteries because most renewable energy is intermittent. The wind doesn't blow all the time, the sun doesn't shine all the time. So you need a lot of batteries, and they need to be very long lasting and high cycle life. And then you need electric transport. And if you have those three things, we've got a very bright future with respect to energy and the environment. So still a long way to go on that, and so I'm still very much fired up to work on that.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the summary, and comment if you want more of that kind in future. See you next time when we try to predict the future.